This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
Knicks family, what's poppin'? It's your boy. Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on with you, man? I'm trying to figure some things out with these New York Knicks, ladies and gentlemen. And I want to know from you, are the Knicks unraveling? Because at this very moment, it feels like the Knicks are in dire straits. Even though they still hold on to that 5th seed in the Eastern Conference, it feels like they're in dire straits. And I'm not exactly sure where we go. They've lost 3 straight games, ladies and gentlemen. Right? 3 straight games the Knicks have lost. 2 of them to teams that, well, most would agree they shouldn't have lost to. They lost to the Minnesota Timberwolves, an undermanned Minnesota Timberwolves. And I'm going to get this thing down here below me up in just a second. They lost to an undermanned Minnesota Timberwolves, right? Without 2 of their best players. Karl-Anthony Towns wasn't on the court. Anthony Edwards wasn't on the court. And the Timberwolves scored 140 points against the Knicks. We all expected the Knicks to have a tough game versus the Miami Heat. No questions about that. A tough game versus the Heat. We all knew there was a chance the Knicks could lose that. I mean, going into that Heat game, the Knicks had beat the Heat by a total of 4 points. So there was a very good chance that going into that game, the Knicks would struggle, right? We know the Heat, they're going to play tough defense. They're going to scrap. They're a playoff caliber basketball team. They're currently in the 6th seed in the Eastern Conference. We're going to take a look at that later. So we knew that, but Minnesota and then Orlando. And while I did expect Orlando to be a tough game, 1, because the matchup, I don't like the matchup, and 2, because we were coming off of a back-to-back. Yes, I did expect that game would be a little bit tough. I didn't expect the Knicks to lose it, though. I just figured the Knicks, given the situation that they were in that Eastern Conference, would have a little bit more urgency coming up for that game, even though it was a second night on a back-to-back. I expected the Knicks to have much more urgency than they displayed versus the Orlando Magic. They played with some urgency down the stretch of the game, but that was too little too late. I mean, they got down by 17 or 19 points in that game. Right? The defense continues to show holes, ladies and gentlemen. The defense is showing holes, especially from the 3-point line. I mean, the last 3 games, the Knicks have allowed 2 teams to shoot over 50% from the 3-point line, and 1 team in the Orlando Magic to shoot 40% from the 3-point line. 2 of those teams came into the game not shooting the ball well, at least for the season. So I just wonder, are the Knicks unraveling? And if that's the case, ladies and gentlemen, it's the wrong time of the season for that to happen. There are 7 games left for the Knicks. 7 games left. And while I don't believe they have the most daunting schedule, it's still going to be a difficult schedule. We don't know which teams remaining on the Knicks' schedule are still fighting for a playoff spot or a play-in spot, right? I mean, let me say this. We know where they are right now. We don't know what they'll be doing when it's time for the Knicks to play them. So the Knicks have got to, they can't sleep on anyone. Young teams love to play the spoiler. I'm sure there are plenty of teams that would love to watch the Knicks fall down the standings. And then you got teams that are just natural rivals of the Knicks, like the Indiana Pacers that we played twice, that would relish in catapulting themselves into the play-in while defeating the New York Knicks. We play the Miami Heat next week. That game has the chance to determine who's in the 5th seed at that current moment. Of course, all the news for the past day and a half has been about Julius Randle and Emmanuel Quickley. And not so much Emmanuel Quickley as far as, him, what he's done, but what's happened between Julius Randle and Emmanuel Quickley, and then Julius Randle and his emotions. Right? I caught heat from a lot of people in my comment sections, that I'm always defending Julius Randle. Let me be clear. I wasn't defending Julius Randle's actions. I was just saying that he wasn't going to fight Emmanuel Quickley because Big Bubba came on and said, oh, he was going to fight him. I'm like, in my opinion, he wasn't going to fight him. He got mad at him. He yelled at him, but I don't think that was going to lead to a fight. Although, I will say, somebody did point out something that I believe to be factual in my comment section. They said they've seen Julius Randle and Emmanuel Quickley kind of not be on the same page on the court. And I think I've seen the same thing. I've seen the two. Emmanuel Quickley wave off Julius Randle. Randle throw his hands in the air. I've seen the two not exactly be on the same page. And maybe it is leading to some frustrations. I don't believe those frustrations are going to lead to fists being thrown. The word fight is more than argue. So that was a big part of my thing the other night with Big Bubba. The word fight is more than argue. But do I agree with Julius Randle losing his temper or not being able to control his emotions? No, I don't. I think he needs to be able to control his emotions. He's got to. He's too important to this basketball team. I will say this about that entire situation, because, we've had, people say that he had an entire meltdown and all that. He did not have an entire meltdown in that basketball game. Right? That's untrue. He didn't have an entire meltdown. He got into the argument with Emmanuel Quickley, which, Emmanuel Quickley was trying to get him away from the referee. He told him, don't touch me. Stop touching me. Emmanuel Quickley says something back to him. Maybe he's like, I'm trying to help you. I don't know exactly what Emmanuel Quickley said, but he griped back at him. And then, that's when Julius Randle got in his face and said, I told you don't touch me. Goddamn. It happened. Second half, they came out. The Knicks played better in the second half. They climbed to they tied the game in the third quarter. Was within 2 points in the fourth quarter. They couldn't pull it out. It's a sticky situation with Julius Randle. And I know people are going to say, well, sit him. You know, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to say it again. Sitting Julius Randle, especially at this point in the season, in my opinion, does more damage to the team than it teaches Julius Randle a lesson. I'll say it again. Does more damage to the team than it teaches Julius Randle a lesson. Because right now, we need to win every single game that we play. We're not going to win all 7, but we need to win. And you can say, well, sit him versus the Houston Rockets. It's the Houston Rockets. Well, you know, we just lost to the Orlando Magic. We've got to figure out a way to win a basketball game right now. You know? So I don't think that solves the problem. The problem, in my book, is beyond basketball. I do think if I'm Emmanuel Quickley, I'm not coming to help him anymore. If I'm, you know, I'm kind of like, you know what? You're on your own, bro. You're going to suffer those natural consequences. You know, what else do you want IQ to do? Tried to help him. He got upset with him. All right. I'm not coming to your defense anymore. You go ahead. If you get attacked, if you get ejected, it's on you. I don't know if there's anything else that he can do. You know what I mean? I don't know if there's anything else he can do. So that's what I would do. But again, I think sitting him down hurts the team way more than it teaches Julius Randle a lesson, because you got to get to the source of the problem. And I'll say this, maybe they have gotten to the source of the problem and you're witnessing in person on television the process of somebody who's working their way through those problems, whatever they are, whatever kind of, you know, whatever emotional or anger issues that Julius Randle has. There's going to be ups and downs, ebbs and flows. There's no doubt about it. Ups and downs and ebbs and flows. You know, it's not one straight line to, you know, oh, it's fixed. It's not one straight line. We would like for him to figure it out now, right? So that we don't continue to have this issue into the playoffs. No doubt about it. We would love for that to be figured out right now. Because we don't need the Knicks to, we don't need Julius Randle to lose it in the playoffs. We need him to be at his best. You know what I mean? He's got to be at his best for the Knicks to win, for the Knicks to have success in the playoffs, for the Knicks to win down the stretch of this season. IQ spoke briefly after the game about the confrontation with Julius Randle, right? And here's what IQ had to say about the situation. Now, obviously, IQ's not going to be able to, he's not going to say a whole lot, but there's some key words in there that I do want to focus on and ask you about, see what you guys think about it. All right, so listen to IQ on the Julius Randle situation, and then, you know, we'll have that discussion. Phone lines are open, ladies and gentlemen. You can give me a call, 516-362-5212. I want to know what you're thinking about the situation. And are the New York Knicks unraveling down the stretch of this season? Here's Emmanuel Quickley, folks.
Everybody trying to win. Everybody trying to win. Heat of moment. That's basically what it is. We all want to win. We all trying to, you know, get done. So.
You trying to save him attack at first? Looked like you tried to cut him off the first time.
Honestly, everybody trying to win. That's all I can really say. Sometimes that happens. It's part of sports. It's part of what it takes to be a professional athlete. It's not just basketball. It's other things with that. So, but you know, everybody trying to win.
Okay, you heard him. We're trying to win. Everybody's trying to win. Right? He said it was in the heat of the moment. Something that happened in the heat of the moment frustration boiled over, basically, is what he's saying, paraphrasing, right? Paraphrasing. And everybody's trying to win. I agree with him. Everyone's trying to win. I do think it was, in that specific situation between him and Julius Randle, it was in the heat of the moment, spat. I do agree. But as he goes on and he says, it's part of being a professional NBA player, then he says there's more to that. When he says there's more to that, right? He says more than basketball, there's more to that. I'm not sure what he's talking about there. And, I'm wondering, is he talking about being a professional basketball player? There's more to just playing on the basketball court? Or is he saying what we are witnessing from Julius Randle, there's more to it, right? Because he's saying, I can't talk about it. I can't go into it. Right? I'm not going to talk about it. So it makes me wonder, whatever it is there more than meets the eye? Obviously, there's more than meets the eye with Julius Randle and, what he's doing. But, I'm just wondering, did Emmanuel Quickley, I don't want to say let the cat out the bag. I don't know which one he's talking about. Is he talking about being a professional basketball player? Is he talking about, Julius Randle? So I don't know if there's something between the two. And hopefully, I know the Knicks after the game kept the locker room closed for about 40 minutes after that Orlando Magic game, according to the New York Post, kept the locker room closed for about 40 minutes so that they were able to talk about some things. And I'm hoping that whatever it was, they got it off their chest, because that's the key. Get it off your chest right after it happens. You know what I mean? Get it off your chest. You don't have time at halftime to really let it go like that, right? You don't got time there. But after the game, you do. Get it off your chest. Let's talk about it right now, because we need to nip this in the bud so we can move forward. If there's something going on between the two of you, we need to rock out. You know what I mean? We need to get it over with. We need to rock out. My man Josh in the building. What's going on with you, Josh, my brother? How are you feeling this Saturday afternoon? You know what I mean? Josh, can you hear me?
I hear you. Yeah, what's going on? I thought you were going to continue.
No. I was, greeting you. I know I don't greet people often, but I was giving you a greeting. So,
What's going on, Sam?
You know what I mean?
Salute to the MBK fam. A happy Saturday to everyone.
Yeah,
Sam, how am I feeling?
Okay.
I'm annoyed.
Okay.
I am annoyed by a lot of the fan base and them overreacting to this situation. Obviously, I understand the question being raised about, whether there's something going on in the locker room or not. But even if it was, sometimes that happens in sports. Like, that happens where players have disagreements and players are not on the same page, and maybe they need to argue it out, or they need to talk it out, or sometimes get physical. That happens in locker rooms. Like, I don't know whether a lot of people who are making this a big deal or have never played sports before, right? But I think at every level, with the exception like Pee Wee or something like that, this is going to happen, right? And I don't know if fans expect players on the same team to sing Kumbaya and under rainbows and all of that stuff. It doesn't happen like that way. It doesn't happen that way all the time. So I'm annoyed by a lot of the fans and them making this a big deal. I don't think we have any evidence to, call this a big deal as it is. I just think that it happens in the game, and I think it's going to make the team stronger at the end of the day.
Yeah, see, I'm actually in agreement with you, right? I don't believe that this was, I don't believe Julius Randle was going to fight Emmanuel Quickley, right? Players spat, they argue, they get in each other's face, sometimes. You know what I mean? Obviously, Julius Randle's controlling his emotions are something that, the Knicks have to continue to deal with, and he's got to deal with, because we don't need him, exploding so much on the referees. And you can always see it coming. You can see it coming throughout the game, right? He a referee doesn't make a call, and 5 plays later he's still talking to the referee about that particular play. You know what I mean? And he gets himself more and more and more upset instead of letting it go. And then he ends up getting a technical foul, whatever, what have you. We've seen it, you know what I'm saying? And we've seen it all season long. More towards the last couple of weeks than earlier in the season, of course. That's something with Julius Randle. But as far as Julius Randle and Emmanuel Quickley, do they have something on the court? I don't know. I will say that I've seen some things with the two, maybe not on the same page. That happens throughout the season too. I also seen versus Orlando, Josh Hart and Emmanuel Quickley not on the same page. Maybe not, getting upset with each other, but the two not being able to connect and throw the ball out of bounds. I mean, so those things definitely happen. With Emmanuel Quickley there, and of course, this is just me reading in between the lines, listening to key words. When he says it's more than basketball, there's there's more to it than that. When he says, I can't, this is all that I can say. You know what I mean? When I hear some of those key words, it makes me think that maybe there's something going on in the locker room. And if there was something going on in the locker room, it wouldn't be the first time for an NBA team, even championship level teams, that there's something going on in the locker room. Right. It wouldn't be the first time, and it definitely will not be the last time that there's something going on in an NBA locker room. The Knicks and everybody else, you just don't hear about them most of the time. Right. The only thing that the thing that makes me ask the question is because, the more people talk in any situation, this is why if you ever been arrested or been, asked questions by the cops or something like that, they'll keep asking you questions and they'll ask you the same thing over and over and over and over again, right? Yeah. Because the more that you talk, the more things start to spill out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's one of the reasons why they want you to drink coffee or soda or something like that. Because, now, what I'm saying, you get a little bit of energy and, you're talking and things start to spill out. You know what I mean? Tom Thibodeau was asked about the team and, he's talking and he says, we're out of sorts. Right? Is he saying, because, just 3 games ago, there wasn't really out of sorts. Now, obviously, and he was asked, he made that comment when asked about Julius Randle. So he says the team is out of sorts. I don't know what that means. Does it mean, is he saying basketball only? Or is he talking about, as a team, we're not on the same page. So this is why I ask, is there trouble? Because I'm just listening to the words that they're saying, and sometimes they'll give it away. Without even knowing that they're giving it away, they might give it away.
Well. To me, clearly there's trouble. I think clearly there's something there, right? We just won't have the luxury of knowing what that is, right? But I still think it's something there that it's necessary for the team to get over. They have to get over that, right? And every team goes through that sort of thing, whatever it is, for different reasons, at any level, right? I think, despite the Knicks winning 11 games and everything being sunshine and rainbows from the fan base, I think in that locker room, there was also something going on as well, right? So I think it's something there. The team is out of sorts and they got to be able to figure it out. I don't know what else to really say about that. I think there is trouble there, but as a fan base, there's nothing we can do.
Right. What kind of trouble
we can do?
When you say trouble, what kind of, do you think they're teammates not happy with one another, not happy with coaches? Like, when you say trouble, what do you think? What's on your mind about that? What kind of trouble do you think could be happening in the locker room amongst this team, if there is?
It's really hard to pinpoint. You can point to multiple different things. It's really hard to really pinpoint something specific. I just think it's different personalities. I think it's like a personality conflict, maybe. I'll point to that. Mitch is a different type of player than some of the rest of the guys who are a little bit more reserved. Mitch is a little bit more out there, outgoing, right?
That's another that's another thing, on top of what's been happening with Randle, the past few weeks, and then Randle and Quickley, and then Mitch on social media, a couple of weeks ago, or maybe a week ago, I guess, coming out and talking about his shot attempts, and he wants to play basketball too. He's not out there just for cardio. You know what I mean? And these could be single incidents that happened in a time span. But a lot of times when things like that are happening, sometimes it means that, there's chattering going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but Sim, it goes back to me, it goes back to it being a personality conflict, and people can say with it. And I think the coach can do something about this type of situation, whether it be give guys days off. To me, I think for Julius Randle's sake, the Knicks moving forward, I think it's too late to do that now. Moving forward, they need to give him team mandated days off, like games off, like a load management for that. I think his mental health struggles or whatever he's got going on emotionally, I think the Knicks can help him by giving him some days off during the season. Not suspending him, not making anything punitive like some people suggest. Mm-hmm. But I think team mandated load management should be a good thing for Julius Randle, as well as some of the other players. Maybe I think when you're around at the same team all the time for 82 games in the season, that gets tough, and players just get frustrated. Men in the locker room, testosterone flowing. It's just one of those things. So personally, for me, I think it's a personality conflict between the team, and they just need time off. Some of them do.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, they've had they're in the middle of a three game break, or a 3-day break, not a 3-game break, but a 3-day break. So hopefully that helps them along a little bit. You know what I mean? They go home to their families or whatever it is, be able to relax a little bit, and then get back into the gym and be a little bit refreshed, at least. You know what I'm saying? A little bit refreshed. I don't know, how much, but at least a little bit refreshed. I do want to, let me recognize the super chat real quick. 007 Angelo said, four seasons waiting for him to figure it out. Leon Rose can figure it out in the offseason by trading him. FYI, IQ was definitely talking about Randle. I mean, that question was about Randle. But when you say figure it out.
Yeah, figure out what?
I mean, clearly basketball-wise, he's figured it out, right? I mean, he's been figured that out. If you're talking about his anger or, emotional outbursts, we really seen that last year, right? I think maybe the year before in his All-NBA season, you seen a little bit of it here and there, but last year is when you really seen it. You know what I mean? And I'm just going to tell you right now, I don't want to speak on Julius Randle and what he could be dealing with emotionally, but if you're talking about dealing with your anger, it's not something that you're going to get over with within 18 months. I'm sorry. It takes time. It takes time. You know what I mean? And, people expect things to happen. I think I said it with Steph the other day. When you're looking at someone else, you expect it to happen instantaneously. When you're talking about yourself, you're like, hey, I'm learning. I'm trying to figure it out. You know what I mean? That's not something that's just easy to get over with. And I'm going to say this too. That sometimes on a basketball team, there are certain things that you've got to accept from certain players because they mean as much to your team. The Knicks accepted a lot from John Starks. You know what I mean? Off the court, John Starks was cool. But on the court, he did some stuff that you were like, what we doing? You know what I'm saying? It's hurting the team. But because of the caliber of player he was and what he meant to the team, the Knicks accepted it. Right? The Warriors have accepted a lot from Draymond Green. Right? Sometimes you have to accept some of those, what did Tom Thibodeau say? Idiosyncrasies of players. You know what I mean? Because of what they mean to your basketball team. And you try to figure out a way to either calm it down or curtail it, or you figure out a way to deal with it. You know what I mean? It's tough. It's not easy, but everyone comes with their own personalities. And when everybody does.
Patrick Ewing and Charles Oakley didn't get along. They weren't the best of friends, right? Charles Oakley did some boneheaded stuff on the floor, right? In addition to what he gave us, the level of fervor that he played with, he gave us some boneheaded plays, right? It's always going to be people like that in your locker room. So figure what out. That's the point that I'm trying to figure out. I don't know what is there for Julius Randle to figure out. He has some emotional issues, right? Every team has guys with that sort of thing, right? And maybe that's just his role. The Knicks have to be able to figure out how can they best help him work through those issues so that it doesn't really cost the team.
Right.
They've tried some things. They have the mental health guy with them around the team, but maybe some other things they can do. Like my suggestion is mental health days.
Yeah.
Load management days throughout the season.
And of course, Randle's got to do his part to.
Yep.
He's got to do his part. There's no doubt about it. No one's taking any responsibility from Randle. I guess, as a team, you got to figure out. Is he the type of player where we're gonna just deal with it? And is it happening so much that we can't deal with it? You know what I mean? Let me get to a phone call. We'll keep trying to figure this thing out. Caller, you're live, man. Tell me your name and where you're from, please.
Sim, how you doing? This is George from the Bronx.
George, what's up, brother?
George.
How you feeling?
I'm good. Mr. Josh, how you doing, Uncle Fulio?
Good day, sir. How you doing?
I'm good. Listen, this is a good situation. This is a good situation for us to have, for the Knicks to have right now.
Okay.
And this is why I say that. The pressure's on them, and they're feeling it, right? They're in the thick of things. They're working to keep a nice little seeding to get into the playoffs. This isn't last year's team that was a flop, whatever we want to call them. The pressure's on. Now, what I noticed in this last game was Julius is definitely getting fouled when he go to the rim, and he's not getting the calls.
Mm-hmm.
That's one.
It's been like that all season, too.
There's a few times that he called for the ball from Quickley, and he didn't get it, right? Because, what I'm noticing is that when they get down, instead of sticking to the game plan, they start wanting to play hero ball. That got to stop.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Yes, Julius is sensitive. He's emotional, but most good players are emotional. You see, being in the midst of this play of this precious situation that they're in right now, they have to work through it as a team. It's not about Julius. It's not about Quickley. They got to lean back on the philosophy that got them to where they're at, and that's what they got to stick with to keep going. They just feeling pressure, bro.
Yeah, I feel it.
There's pressure on the Knicks right now.
Yeah.
They win 9 games, they lose 3, they come back and win 6 and lose 3, up and down because of pressure. Mm-hmm. Pressure bust pipes and make diamonds. What are they going to become?
Hey, I feel you. I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you.
So this is a good gauge for them.
Okay.
Because where they're at is not an easy position.
Right.
They're right in the midst of what's going on. And this is something new for them. So as men, as a team, they got to come together and work through it. Julius start going off. We don't need just Quickley running up on him. We need everybody running up on him. Like, yo, come on, man, stop this. Hold your head, man. Come on. Not just Quickley. We need all of the players out there because we all know how he is. Mm-hmm. So we all got to calm him down when he get there.
All right. Let me ask you this, George. Does there come a time where your teammates start to feel like, I'm tired of running after him. I'm tired of trying to stop him from, having these outbursts. Because it normally begins with his frustrations with the referees, right? And then it escalate to something else. I mean, does it come a time as a teammate that you're just tired of it?
I tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna answer your question with a question.
Okay.
Look at his body of work over the whole season.
Mm-hmm.
Has he really been that volatile this season?
No, it's really been the past couple of weeks.
The past couple of weeks.
Escalated.
Okay. It's escalating, right, because of the pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Now, somebody, one of those coaches or someone is going to have to point out, we're going through a transition now. We're going through a metamorphosis now, because this is when every team that play us is trying to beat us now. We're not last year's Knicks, where they look at the Knicks on the schedule and, oh, that's an automatic W. When they look at the Knicks, they looking at, this is a battle. And this is the mindset that the Knicks have to adapt.
Right.
Everybody that's coming at us is coming at us.
Right.
The pressure's on.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? Orlando beat us. They're not supposed to beat us.
Mm-hmm.
They're not supposed to beat us. Who beat us before that? Who had two of their stars out?
Minnesota.
They wasn't supposed to beat us. I don't care what players they got on the bench. They was not supposed to beat us. You see, so the Knicks have to go in with the mindset of every game is war. Every game is war. They going through a metamorphosis. Now let's just see how they come out on the other side. It ain't just Julius. They all under pressure.
Nah, you're right. You're right.
The pressure to win.
You're right. You're right. We'll see what they do,
see?
man. We'll see
Now,
what they do.
Right. Because you said you took your girls and sat your girls down and put a philosophy into them to win, how to win. Mm-hmm. That's what need to happen now. That's what need to happen now. I'm going to leave it at that, fellas.
Yeah, no doubt. Appreciate it. Appreciate it, George.
Thanks, I appreciate y'all, man. Keep doing what you're doing.
No doubt about it.
All right, now.
Sure.
No doubt about it.
Sim, can I just mention real quick? This whole thing with Randle and the team. I'm gonna look elsewhere as far as accountability. I'm gonna point directly to the Knicks organization, Tom Thibodeau and the Knicks organization here. Earlier in the season, when I think Julius Randle had one of them outbursts or whatever, he mentioned, and I think in the post-game press conference, that it needs to be someone else on the team to step in and basically try to get Randle out of there, that type of thing, right? And we've seen every time Randle's had that type of outburst, players come in and step up, whether it be Quickley, whether it be Fournier, whoever, right? From this point on, if the players, those particular players, Fournier and IQ, are saying, well, I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going to get in the way anymore. Let him go out if he wants to do that and go ahead and, get himself thrown out the game. That right there that's an immediate conflict, because you got the team saying one thing, and then you got a player trying to do what the team told them to do, and then it not working, and then the player's just like, screw it, right? So I think that right there, if there's some sort of conflict and friction with that, I think you automatically point that back to the organization. Not taking anything away from Randle and him needing to act. He needs to act better, obviously, but in those types of situations, when you have the team saying that a player needs to do something and then they try to do it and it doesn't work, I look at the organization in that regard and them not handling it the right way, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, when so the tough part of that, when you say not handling it the right way, is it's going to be trial and error too. This may be your first solution. Okay, we're going to try to do it this way. If this doesn't work and they realize, okay, this isn't working, and the players are like, this ain't working, and I don't want to continue to have to try to step in because, we see, he just started arguing with Quickley. I'm not stepping in. We're going to let him suffer whatever consequences he gets from the referees or the team or the league or whatever. So now then the team, okay, well, maybe we need to think of something else, or figure out something else. And obviously Randle's got to take the responsibility to control, his emotions too.
Right.
That's the first goal. He's got to do whatever it is that he needs to do to control his emotions. Right. Here's the issue. Not the issue. Here's something that I think about. Randle plays off of emotion. He plays his best when his emotions are high, right? And he's highly engaged. That's when he plays his best. if you go back and look at the third quarter, Julius Randle was really trying not to have an outburst. He was trying to control his emotions, but he was passive. He was very passive in that third quarter, right? And it didn't hurt the Knicks at this point in time, but he was passive. And I don't think the Knicks can be successful with Randle being passive. So he's a guy who plays with his emotions on his sleeve, and to me, that's when he plays his best. And I think the Knicks play better. The Knicks play more aggressive when he's playing with his emotions on his sleeve. The issue comes is when he's playing with his emotions on his sleeves and with that kind of passion. This is when the argument comes in with the referees and so on. How do we get Randle to be able to balance it?
Well, Sam, I think
Right?
there's something missing there, though. I think the organization knows a little bit more, and that's why
I'm sure they do.
pointing back at
I'm sure they
them.
do. I'm sure they do.
I think there's just something there with Randle that they know about and that the team knows about in the locker room that that we don't know.
Yeah, I agree.
You get what I'm saying?
I agree 100%.
And not that we're supposed to know. I'm not saying we're supposed to know.
Right.
But I just think there's something there. And if it's something to where they really don't really have a solution, or the solution that they put out there is not working, then I think at that point, you got to sit him out for a game or so. Like, have him, like, something along those lines. Like, to me, it's not worth it him playing 82 games. It's not worth it, in my opinion.
But those now, if like you're saying, okay, we're gonna sit him out because for his emotional health, right? We don't want the pressure to pick up on him. I mean, for this season, that's too late. You need him out there on the floor. He's got to be out there on the floor. Yeah. So that may be something that you have to look at, because in the beginning of the season, he wasn't having this, right? So it may be something that they have to look at for next year. Say, okay, let's look at some other strategies. You know what I'm saying? And whatever that he's dealing with personally, that lead to these type of emotional outbursts. And when I say that, it doesn't mean that it's directly, but the emotional outbursts, sometimes they stem from something deeper, right? The anger issues stem from something deeper, and he could be working his way through those things. And who knows? You know what I mean? I don't want to put anything on Julius Randle. We can only speak from what we see from the outside, right? We can only speak from that. But those things sometimes manifest itself. I tell people all the time, basketball, especially basketball, in my opinion, apart from other sports, is when you really see maybe the truest form of people, because you're out there in the heat of battle. Emotions are swinging from being up to being down. You know what I'm saying? And you can really see people, because it's like innate, the way that you're going to react to stuff, and you can try to control it, but sooner or later, those things are going to come out somehow, some way. And I mean, for me as a coach and as a person who's, worked with children and teenagers and young adults with like behavior issues, is always been great for me, because I can see them in that purest form. When they're in a classroom, they're in this, they're doing that. They can control it a little bit better, but out there it's a little bit harder because your emotions are so involved in playing. And now you can see it and you can say, okay, here's something that we really need to work on with this person. You know what I mean? And so hopefully this is something that the team, along with whoever else is working with Randle, is working on. It's hard to know. But like you said, we're not supposed to know those things. We're going to see things from the outside, but we're not supposed to know. And it could be when Emmanuel Quickley said, this is all I can say. He's alluding to it. You know what I mean? And the team and the teammates, they know, all right, here's some things that he deals with in his life. You know what I mean? And it manifests itself out here on the court. And were part of it.
The cat is eating us alive right now, Sim.
That's cool. That's cool. I get it. They're gonna eat it. You know, I get it.
What am I hearing is Joel C. Salute to you says what I'm hearing is a horrible take on this. Randle needs to go at the end of the year. Enough already. And then Tish is like, for the sake of his mental health, trade him to the Hornets. I mean, to me, I just don't know what to say to those people. They think that it's supposed to be sunshine and rainbows, and everyone's supposed to sing "Kumbaya" in the locker room. That's what they think it is. I don't think they, I
mean, basketball is real life too, and the locker room is real life too. You know what I'm saying? You know, and there are men that go through real life issues, and I'm not taking any responsibility from Randle at all. At all. We're just talking about how does the team handle it? That's what we're talking about here. We're not taking any responsibility from Randle and that, how he needs to control himself. We're talking about how the team handles it. You know what I'm saying? And what the team should do to handle this situation, or what teammates should do to handle this situation. You know what I mean? I'm not afraid to have darts thrown at me. You know what I'm saying? I've had them thrown at me before. I can dip them and dodge them. I'm cool with that. But I stand by my take. I don't care.
Salute to AD. $117 million player has a problem. Boo-hoo. See, to AD, $117 million is a lot of money to me, to you. But across the NBA, when we talk about star players and all-star players, that is not that much.
And 117 million, 317 million, 500 billion does not guarantee happiness. And it don't stop things that's going on inside of a person. I'm sorry. It don't. It don't stop it. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So I'm glad. I like when people throw darts at me, though. You know what I mean? I'm cool with it. I like it. Caller, you're live. Tell me your name and where you're from, please.
Salute. 3 capital S's. Stay cool with it, my brother. Be Cochise Cootie High cool with it, my brother. We don't never fold up under the pressure, you know what I'm saying? Not the real ones, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody on this beautiful weekend. Hoping everybody having a gorgeous weekend, doing something to treat yourself. Watch some NCAA tournament or something. Even if your team ain't playing no more. We all love basketball. A lot of people ain't even watching basketball no more, but it's okay. That's all good. But I just want everybody to be in the greatest form of health. I know early in the season, Julius called a meeting and brought everybody together, you know what I'm saying? And we took off, and everybody was good with that. Julius needed to call another meeting, but this one have a meeting with yourself. It's up to you, my brother. You always talk about your beginning of the season, before the season starts, your work ethic, how you put all this work in. Don't let that go down the drain. This is not Drano. Do not let your hard work and your ethic go down the drain. You know what I'm saying? It's no pressure on the New York Knicks. Everybody talking about pressures on no, the pressure's on Boston because they didn't win it all. The pressure's on Philly because they got a tandem, and if it don't work out, they're going to break that up. You know what I'm saying? The pressure is on Cleveland because they got Donovan. They supposed to be making this type noise. The pressure should not be on us. We ain't even supposed to be here. But you know why we here? Because the guys, they deserve to be here. They wanted to be here. They fought it to be here. They worked hard to get right here. So no, we don't need to throw this down the drain right here in the point because we here by accident. Beginning of the season, everybody was talking about this schedule. We playing this. We ain't going to make it through this. We ain't going to make it through that. You know what I'm saying? And we made it for a whole lot of things to be here right now. You know what I'm saying? We all just need to come together, man, and realize, we ain't supposed to be. I appreciate being here, and we're going to keep on playing. Julius has to understand he's still in his prime. That means he got another check to come. You want that another check, big fella? You got to turn it around, you know what I'm saying? Because it's all with you, my guy. You are big man. You are leader. And we're going to go as far as you're going to allow us to go. Everybody talk about Brunson. Yeah, Brunson doing his thing. But if Julius, you know what I'm saying, if you don't continue on doing the things that's got us here so far and carry us a much even further, you know what I'm saying, we're going to come to a halt, you know what I'm saying? But the season we had a great season all season long, but everybody stop thinking we up under pressure. We're not here to build and win no championship this year. We're just trying to make sure we're going in the right direction. But we stumbling in a couple little areas because, things are happening. We need to get over those marks and go ahead and get back to playing basketball. That's starting back with Houston. We got 3 days off. Smack Houston. You got a couple more days. Bring Miami back. Smack Miami back in the head and give them a problem back. You know what I'm saying? Finish out. I believe we're still going to finish in the 5 seed, but stop looking so far forward towards Cleveland. Start making sure you stay away from the teams that's behind you. We look at too many directions instead of looking at that 48 clock. When the referee throw that up and his tip off, his ball came right then and there. Look for what's happening right now. If you're practicing right now, focus on that. You with your family right now, focus on that. When you go in that game and that gym, focus on that. Stop looking for games in front of games and deal with what's happening right now. That's what's happening. Reality is always right now. Not the past, not the present. Right now, the present, not the past and not the future, but stay in the present, in the moment. Do what you got to do. We love everything that's going on. Everybody having a beautiful season, man. All across podcasts, all across Twitter spaces. We ain't throwing that away now. Stop trying to put so much cement on top of situations. We'll figure it out. We always figure it out some kind of way, man. Salute, salute, salute. Everybody have a great weekend.
My man, Jay Boogie, ladies and gentlemen. Nobody does it better. Nobody does it better. Jay Boogie in the building. Appreciate it. Love that man. Big Bubba, what's going on, man?
You know, Simone does these kind of shows when he loses an argument against me. He always comes back the next day, you know, got to prove his point because, you know, everybody was on my side. It's okay. I love it, though. You know, I like when I'm not the villain sometimes.
I stand my ground. It doesn't matter. I believe what I believe about the situation. You know I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid to be in the minority.
Okay. You know, it's good. You know, sometimes it's good to, you know, it's good to be on the other side sometimes.
Not afraid to be in the minority.
You know, Sim, you know, it's like wrestling, Sim. You know, you usually the baby face, I'm usually the heel. You know, it's just around a little bit.
Switches around every once in a while. That's cool. Switches around every once in a while.
Yeah, it does. No, but you know what though, Sim? What's going on, Josh? Look, Josh said,
you need to steal those headphones, by the way, so when you're home in your bedroom, you know, your beard don't get in the way of the show.
You know,
I don't want you to get fired from work, so. But, yeah.
Yo, that'd be one hell of a way to get fired the headphones for the show. No, but look, what Josh said earlier was true, man. Look, we're all certain there are things that they know, that we know there's things that they know about Julius that we don't know. And, you know, I really do pray for him. I hope, because, you know, mental health is really serious. And it's clear as day, you know, he has some issues going on. And, you know, I think he's frustrated. You know, it's frustrating when you don't get the calls. It's frustrating because this is a long season. He hasn't missed a game. God bless him. I think this is a learning tool, Sim and Josh, to see next year for Thibs, where, okay, yes, it is beautiful that you played 82 games. That's great. But let's try to get him a day rest here, a mental break here. You know, but I think because next year, I know next year we're going to be another year wiser, better. Hopefully we get some upgrades in certain positions. We'll see how after the playoffs go, how that goes. And listen, I think next year you got to get those days for him because, you know, he's reaching a point where I think it's getting to him. And we don't need that because it's going to even be worse in the playoffs. So, you know, the best thing, like Steph said a couple shows ago, when it's all said and done, Knicks are going to get about a week and a half.
Get about a week.
About a week.
Well, it depends. As long as they're not in the play-in.
Yeah. Okay. Right? As long as they're not in the play-in.
As long as they stay in the playoffs.
Yes.
They'll get a week.
Stay in the
break.
playoffs, you get a week. And, you know, that should be some time just to give them some days, be with the family, relax, and then get back to work maybe 2-3 days after and gets back to work. Because we need them to be 100%. We need them to be mentally there because this is a big playoff series, man. I think this playoff series is going to determine a lot of things for the next future of where we go.
Yeah. Can I just say in regards to, and I want to push back on the notion that Julius Randle is not getting calls. I want to push back on that, right? And I guess this is where me and Sim are going to probably disagree. Disclaimer.
Probably will.
But I do push back on that. Julius Randle, and you know, the Knicks run a ton of isolation, as we all know. Julius Randle's top 10 in foul draw rate in the NBA out of those plays. Right now, I'm not saying there's some times where Julius Randle does not get called. That he doesn't have a point on some of the calls. I think Julius Randle definitely does. But I think Julius Randle does get a lot of calls. The notion that about him not getting any is just, you know, laughable in my opinion. And I think it's not to the level where it's defensible for Julius Randle to be getting in the ref space every single time down the floor, right? I don't agree with that part of Randle of how he handles it. And I think that if Randle really truly feels that he got fouled one time down the floor, I want to see him take that out instead of taking it on the referees, take it out on the other team. That's what I want to see him do in that regard. So I just want to push back on that a little bit.
I got to push back with you. So, Joe, this is why I got to push
hold
back.
Up, because he said my name. Let me jump in. He said my name.
My bad,
first.
my bad,
I wasn't addressing you directly.
My bad.
Look,
my bad, big bro. I'll try. Little bro, try to help you real quick.
But see, I agree. He gets to the line. A lot of the calls where he gets to the line is when it's in a blatant, in front of the ref. He's really getting to the line a lot by using that rip through move and that pull up jump shot, and they're hitting his arm, boom, boom, he's getting to the line. I think where he really gets frustrated is especially down low under the basket, he gets banged. You know what I'm saying? And he's getting hit. And he gets frustrated when those calls don't go against him, I think. It's almost like the same thing that was happening with Melo, because Melo would get to the line a lot too, right? But, Melo would get killed under the basket. And part of it is because Melo initiated some contact, right? And, so he had that kind of that bully ball style of play, which Randle does as well. And then, if you go back to when RJ, I forgot who we were playing. Maybe it was the Clippers. I don't know. He got the fast break dunk. I think it sent the game in overtime, but he was fouled on the play. He was clearly fouled on the play. Arm on the shoulder. Right?
RJ, you talking about?
RJ Barrett, yeah.
Oh, the Raptors. That was the Raptors game.
Maybe it was Raptors. Okay, arm on the shoulder. And then the referees came out, or the NBA came out and said that it didn't impede the progress to the basket. Boom, 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 boom. Right? And I think with Randle being as strong as he is, sometimes he's getting bumped. And if that's one of the things that the referees use, that it didn't impede your progress to the basket, which I don't agree with that kind of whatever that rule is. I don't agree with that, because that naturally goes against big, strong players, right? Because a lot of times they're going to go to the basket, they might get hit, and if it doesn't impede your progress to the basket, the referees might not call it. So I think that's where the frustration lies, and I think he does get hit a lot in those situations. You know what I mean? And I think that's where some of the frustration lies. But I agree. He's got to handle it better. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Just like I told my girls, there was a point in the season where we were upset because we were getting so many foul calls against us. And we had to just come to and realize, hey, we play a certain style of defense. We're going to get a lot of calls. We can't worry about it. We just got to keep going. And that's what Randle's got to do.
But I think the frustration shouldn't be against the referees. Frustration should be against the NBA for having that rule, right? I mean, listen, the refs across the NBA enforce the rule different, right? But at the end of the day, when the NBA submits that 2-minute report, they're backing their officials with that. So that's not a referee. In the moment, obviously, you're gonna put your frustrations against the referees. But to me, that's a league-wide issue, and that's to the NBA.
And I
right?
get
So
that.
to me, it doesn't make any sense for Julius Randle to
who's
go
right?
after the referees.
But who's right in front of you? I mean, you're getting hit, you're getting banged, you're getting bumped. And the person who in front of you who has the ability to blow the whistle is the referees. You know what I mean? So that's the rule.
It's not going to change. To me, I would rather have Julius Randle take his frustration out on the other team.
I
go get a flagrant on the other side. Do something like that.
No, don't go get a flagrant.
No, don't do that. But I want to say
he might decapitate somebody.
Listen,
now we talking. Sheesh.
About the Denver Knicks game. So Joe, I do disagree with you in the sense of that. That's fine because look, for example, and God, please, people, and I'm using this as an example. LeBron James. Does LeBron James get fouled more, even though he gets a gazillion calls? He still gets fouled, and they don't call every time. And it's the same way because Julian, they both play with that strength. And when it comes to Randle, like Sim was saying, he gets beat up down low. I mean, for some reason, when it comes to the Knicks and these kind of players the Knicks for the last maybe 10 years between Melo, Randle, and RJ, they have players that are very strong. Like we got guys that are strong. So these guys get beat up. I mean, there's been plenty of times where, to be honest with you, RJ probably should be the one screaming at the refs because this dude goes down low and get hit. Plenty of times it doesn't get fouls. But when it comes for Randle, yes, he has to control that. again, I honestly, I think everybody, even people on the team, are tired of him going to the ref's face.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like Sim said, yo, ref, you're looking at me get hit and not calling it. Like, screw the 2-minute report. I'm getting hit and you're not calling it. But then what makes it probably more frustrating that you have situations like for the Miami game, right? Where boom, we all saw Jimmy Butler move his pivot foot. They didn't call a turnover. What happened when the Knicks got the next possession? They got fouled. It was a foul on them. It means stuff like that's frustrating to a player. And for someone like Randle that gets hit, and then next thing you know, whoever the opponent is, boom, they get the same exact call that I didn't get, but they got it. That's
like I said, the rules officiated differently across the league, right? But it's not on the individual referees. The referees are subjective no matter what. It's the league, right? So in that moment, I understand Julius Randle is going to be mad at someone. I just personally would have him get mad at the other team and not the referees.
I agree with you, George.
I think to me it would be much different in that regard. Also, Julius Randle, like I said, he's top 10 in foul draw rate in the NBA for players that play in isolation, right? So he is getting some calls. With Julius Randle, his complaints are no different than any other player around the NBA who feels he needs to get a foul call. So to me, it doesn't like Julius Randle's not special in that regard. There's always going to be players and teams that complain about the referees. Right. And it's just the nature of the business. And to me, if the NBA is going to stand up for those referees, there's really nothing you can do. Really nothing you can do.
I agree. I agree that, he needs to just play the game. You're not getting the call. The refs ain't going to change the call. You know what I mean? Now, certain players, when you talk to the referees, you complain to the referees, they're not going to change the call, but they may overlook a call later on or whatever.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? That happens. Yeah. Anthony D said, who got hammered more than Shaq in his day? You're right. He got hammered. And Shaq is in the top 10 in technical fouls ever. Because, he complained to the referees too and got upset. You know what I mean? He did. Shaq is probably the inventor of, what we're talking about, getting hammered down low and not getting the calls. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it.
On the other end, he will foul the heck out of you.
He's in the top 10.
I was about to say that.
10 in fouls too.
Listen, Shaq, yo.
And I'm not asking Randle to do that. I just want Randle to if he's really
can't do
frustrated.
That no more, Josh.
No. I mean, like once in a while, like instead of taking all his frustrations out on the ref, like get a flagrant foul. Let's suspend you for a game. You need it anyway.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you, Josh.
I don't
like
do that.
3 points in a
Listen.
I don't.
You talk about you talk. You telling them to do that. You see the conversation we having now. Let Randle get a flagrant foul.
It is too late for it. I
Let Randle go out there and get a flagrant foul, man. Oh my gosh. Fans that have his neck. Anyway, man, like you said, it's too late. It's too late. It's too late for Randle to take a mental health day unless the Knicks find themselves locked into that 5th seed. Then maybe you can give him a little bit of a rest. But right now it's kind of late because
we need it. We need every win.
Yeah, we need everything, man. We need everything right now.
Sim, you're talking
the Knicks
about,
are locked in. They're locked into this battle for the 5th seed, and it's a tight one now. It wasn't always a tight one, but it's a tight one now. You know what I mean?
See, Sim, this is the thing where, and this is the part where it gets me mad with the Knicks about how you finish a season. When you give up games like Charlotte and the Timberwolves, and now the Magic, you're talking about you could have been 45 wins right now, and you could have had about 3-game cushion. Well, no, you would have had about 4-game cushion, 4.5-game cushion up on the Heat.
Yeah,
if you win those games,
right, you would have had a cushion. Right now, the Knicks are 42-33, right? So they fell to they were once 12 games above 500, and we thought against Minnesota they was going to go to 13 games above 500. Now they're only 9 games above 500. The Miami Heat are 40-34, right? They're 1.5 games behind the Knicks. They play the Nets today, right? The Nets are 39-34. They fell below the Heat, so they're now in the play-in situation. The Heat are a half game above. The Heat are a half game above the Nets. You know what I mean?
Now we got to root for the Nets tonight.
I mean,
and the end of the tie.
Yeah, it can't end in a tie. They don't do that in the NBA. It can't end in a tie. So, it's a dog battle right now between that. I mean, the Knicks are 2 games above the Nets, and if they continue to lose, they could fall into that play-in.
Yes.
I don't think they will, but they could. It's possible. It is definitely possible that they could fall into that play-in situation. Monday's game is so big, so important, right? Probably right now, Monday's game against the Houston Rockets is the biggest game of the season so far. Up to this point, it's the biggest game of the season. And then the next night when they play against the Miami Heat, that's going to be the biggest game of the season. So, there's
Sim,
some
you're talking
important games
about
going
that
on.
Game
man.
right there, Sim. I mean, that's gonna see. I mean to tell you, Sim. Let me sit up for this one. That's gonna be an emotional game.
Yeah, that's going to be a battle. Go ahead.
And you already seen, and you got to see this planet. You already see Randle and Jimmy Butler were going at it.
I was just about to say that.
And this and you talking about, it's gonna be some old school. This is gonna be an old school playoff game on Wednesday.
Right.
But you can't look ahead. You gotta beat the Rockets. You have to beat the Rockets.
You got to. You got to beat the Rockets, because if you beat the Rockets, let's assume that Miami beats Brooklyn. If you beat the Rockets, you stay a game and a half above Miami, and then if Miami does beat you, right, you're a half a game above Miami. Now, if you lose to the Rockets, then you're 1 game above Miami, and then if Miami beats you, they're 1 game above you.
Oh my God!
Or you're tied in the standings or something like that, maybe, because
they would have the season series.
Because
it'd be tied.
The season series. The season series would be tied, and then I guess their records would be tied as well.
Right now, we're up on Miami 2-1, right?
2-1, yeah.
We're up 2-1. If we win, we get the season series. But, if we were to lose to the Rockets and then lose to Miami, then our records would be tied. I guess we'd be tied for that 5th seed. I don't know, what the other tiebreakers are right now for the 2 teams, but
doesn't it go to conference after that?
Probably so. But, you don't want to be in that situation.
No. Sim, to be honest with you, that would be, I don't want to say all we did this season would be for naught, but man, if you end up in a play-in or just in a weird situation, man, it just felt like all those winning streaks, it just felt like it was for nothing, but these are the big games. You gotta beat the Rockets. Let's start with the Rockets.
Yeah, you gotta take care of business with the Rockets, man.
I told you before, I want this game over by the middle of the third quarter. I want this game over. I legit want this game over by the mid-third of the quarter. We do not. The last thing we need, Sim, is to be in a dogfight in the 4th quarter with the Rockets. Yeah. I don't like that at all.
So the tiebreaker rules go as following. So better winning percentage, obviously. Second part of that's going to be the head-to-head. Third part of that's going to be division leader wins a tie of a team not leading a division. So I'm not sure if Miami's who's up in that division. I don't think it will be Miami, right? They're ahead in that division.
And the division?
Yeah.
Who's ahead in their division? Because the Knicks and Miami not in the same division.
Right. Miami's ahead of their division.
Yeah, they're ahead of their division, and the Knicks are 3rd or 4th or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So that will be the tiebreaker if in that scenario.
That's a tough one too, because the Knicks playing a much better division than Miami.
Right. And then if let's say, well, it doesn't matter, but the next thing after that will be the division win-loss percentage if the teams are in the same division.
Right.
Because if they tie for the same record, then whoever has the better division record.
Right.
And then it goes to conference and then so on and so forth.
Right. So the Knicks, if they lose to Houston, they'd be 42-34. Right. And Miami, they beat Brooklyn tonight, they'd be 41-34. And then once they played each other, Brooklyn would be 42-34, and the Knicks would be 42-35. I guess. Yeah. So I guess.
So Miami will have the half game.
I guess Miami would have like a half game above them.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I mean, the way Brooklyn's been playing, they've lost 5 in a row. I'm pretty sure they're going to be kind of desperate, but I don't know if they get this win tonight.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough, Sam. I don't know. But these games are going to hurt. The one against Charlotte, the one against Minnesota, definitely going to hurt us. And the game against Houston, we got to win those games. If the Knicks are for real, they got to win those games. I don't care who the Knicks don't have. They're a flat out better team than Houston. And we're a better team than Orlando, better team than Charlotte, and I think a better team than Minnesota. You got to win those games. I'm sorry.
Yeah. They got to, man. They gotta get that win against Houston. I mean, like I said, that's the most important game of the season at this point in time. It's the most important game of the season.
And to be fair, Sam, I'm confident in the Knicks because I remember when we had on that 5-game losing streak, we had the Rockets and we blew them out.
Man, we beat them by 20.
But I will say this, like George was just saying. I don't care. I don't care if Jalen Brunson's out. I don't care if RJ's out. We are a better cohesive team.
Well, I don't know about cohesive right now.
Well, okay, right now we're not cohesive.
I don't know how cohesive we are right now, but we're a better team. We need that. We just need that win bad.
And Sim, and also I want to see this too. We have to play better defensively. We have to play better defensively because this 3-game losing streak, this has been. Yeah, I haven't seen bad defense, even though we've been on multiple game losing streaks. I haven't seen us play this bad defense since last year. This has been the worst defense I've seen us play.
I mean, we've had
for a stretch of games.
For a stretch of games. For this stretch.
I said during this whole season, this is the worst I've seen us play defense.
Not the whole season. Stretch of games.
I just said that.
Okay.
I literally just said that this is the worst I've seen us play in those 3 games.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, Josh. Yeah. Josh always when I gets the last word. I don't like that.
You got it.
Oh my God! See, all right, that's it.
Well, either way, man. Let me get to a couple of super chats while you guys work that out. All right, I get to a couple of super chats here. Big shout out to Jay Boogie. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you, my brother. He said, "My bad. Let me drop this jewel for the office." They're listening. Put that tape together. Julius not getting calls. Send it to the NBA office so they can see. I'm pretty sure they're, I'm pretty sure they're aware. I'm pretty sure they've heard. Right? Nikki B from Harlem said, arguing with the refs is part of the modern NBA. It's not going away, and it's not evidence of mental health issues. Let's relax. We're doing too much right now. I don't think we're talking about arguing with the referees as being, and I'm not saying mental health. I'm saying emotional health. Emotionally, right. Controlling his emotions. And I'm not saying arguing with the referees is that. It's the reaction to some of the other things that we've seen Julius Randle do that leads you to say emotionally he's got to learn how to control his emotions, and maybe there's some emotional things there that he's got to work with. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you can't look at what Julius Randle has been doing and when he's getting in those situations and say, oh, that's how a normal person will react. Yeah. No, that's not. No. Anyone with common sense can tell there's something else that's there.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
No offense, Nikki B.
All we can do is speculate, but it just seems that there's something there. He slapped the dude's tablet last year. I mean, there's been things that he's done that leads you to say there's some emotional anger issues maybe going on. You know what I mean? And Daylight Music, thank you for the super chat. He says, salute to the panel. What's up, Sam? You just got in. Well, thank you for being here. This is a very, very timely conversation, and it's on point. I don't want to depend on anyone or back into the playoffs. Yeah, I don't want to back in either. I want to go in playing well. You know what I mean? I want to go in playing well. Let's just say that. And right now, we're not playing well. We still have time to turn it around. I mean, obviously, you can see, 3 games ago, we were riding high. Now, 3 games later, we're at a low point of the season. You know what I mean?
Me and Sim arguing.
Right. I mean, it's not just,
happy.
Trust me, it's not just us. If you go on Twitter, I mean,
oh boy,
Twitter was bugging out. People were blowing up at each other, and I'm like, golly.
Hey,
it
Sim,
was
you wanna know
all.
what's funny,
It was all like a couple
all good
days
just a week ago.
That's exactly what I put on Twitter. I was like, it was all good just a week ago. Now, Twitter was bugging out people. I was like, golly, man.
Hey, Sim, you know the funny thing? Because Guillermo always asked me to get a Twitter, right? Guillermo always asked me to get a Twitter. I said, no, I'm good. I see the way y'all be arguing on there. I see the way all y'all be talking. I'm good on that.
Yeah, hey, bugging out Nikki B. You're right. We are speculating. I mean, it's all speculation. You know what I mean?
All of it is.
It's all speculation, but we got some information behind that speculation, though. You know what I mean? Definitely got some information behind it, but it is speculation.
Listen, man, I think, at the end of the day, right? And I said this even between me and you. At the end of the day, we just want the Knicks to do good.
Yeah. Nick Yak said emotional is mental health. I mean, I think they can relate to one another, but I don't know if it always is mental health. You know what I mean? Someone can have anger problems. I don't know if that's mental health or not. I think there's some lines in between. You know what I'm saying?
It's a Steph question. Steph would be able to answer that.
I think there's some lines. There are some lines in between emotional behavior, mental health behavior. There's some things in between there. But I understand what you're saying. You know what I mean? I understand what you're saying. But I don't know, man. The Knicks, they got to pull it together and get it done down these final 7 games. 7 games. 7 games left to the season. You know what I mean? They just got to be able to pull it out. I don't know right now between Miami and New York, I think it's too close to say, if the Knicks win this amount of games, they got it wrapped up, because we don't know what Miami is going to do.
So the
Knicks
best
don't have anything wrapped up right now.
No. So the best thing the Knicks...
No, what I'm talking about is I don't know right now if we can say, well, if the Knicks win this many games, they wrap it up.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
So
right?
The best thing the Knicks can do, Sim, the only thing the Knicks can control is winning games.
Yeah,
you keep winning.
That's it.
You keep winning, then you got to just keep winning. That's you got 7 games left. I'm not even going to tell you what I think the Knicks are going to do, but just keep winning as many games. At this point, Sam, I'm like, just win as many games as you can. That's it. Win as many games as you can.
Oh, that's all they can do. You know what I mean? Right now is try to win as many as they can. And looking at their schedule, they play Houston on Monday. All right, and then Miami on Houston should be a win. I get scared saying that.
Please,
not me.
Not
me.
I get scared.
I don't want you to get it.
Because
They're gonna come back to this video on Saturday, and they're gonna say, "Sim just had to say something."
I mean, it should be a win.
It should be a win.
When I say I get scared saying that, is because the Knicks slip up. They slip up to these teams like they did to Orlando, right? They slip up. But this should be a win. Miami, obviously, you can't sit and say that should be a win. That's a tough game. That's going to be a battle. But the Knicks can do themselves a big favor by getting that win, because they could put themselves 2 games above the Miami Heat.
And 3-1 against them.
And 3-1 against them. So you win the season series, and you're 2 games above them. You know what I mean?
So after that, y'all can both finish with the same record. Finish with the same record. We're gonna win.
I mean, you could. I don't want it to come that close. I want the
I don't
I
want
want the Knicks to win games, right? But that's going to be that's going to be a really, really big game there. Then, of course, the Cleveland Cavaliers. That's going to be another big one. It's not going to mean much in the standings as far as those two teams are concerned. But obviously, if the Knicks lose to Miami, if the Knicks beat Houston and then they lose to Miami, they'll be a half game above Miami. They lose to Cleveland. I don't know when Miami plays next, but it's possible Miami could leapfrog the Knicks at that point, right? So, that's going to be, all of them are going to be big games. And then you got the Washington Wizards. That's not going to be an easy game. I don't know whether they're going to be in the standings at that time as far as battling for a play-in position. But looking at the players that they have, I think they're going to want to win. They're going to be battling to try to get into that play-in spot still. All right, or let me see where they are right now. The Washington Wizards are currently, they're 2.5 games out. At that point, I don't know. It could be late for them. I'm sure they'll still be battling, but it's getting pretty late then, right? The Indiana Pacers, who the Knicks played next after the Washington Wizards, are also 2.5 games out of that. 10th spot, right? So you're getting to the point where it could be kind of late for them as well, right? The Pelicans out in the Western Conference, they're right in the mix. The Pelicans are. The Pelicans could literally, maybe not now. Golden State starting to win some basketball games. They're 39-36. The Pelicans are 2 games behind Golden State. At that point, the game before the last game of the season, they may have secured their spot in the play-in. You know what I mean? And they could be battling, for the 9th or the 10th spot. They could be in that battle because right now OKC is 36-38. New Orleans is 36-37. The Lakers are 37-37. Minnesota's 37-37. So at this point, they might just be jockeying for position, trying to get up to that 7th or 8th seed. You know what I mean? So they might still be in play. They might still be battling at that point, right? And then you'll have Indiana to finish out the season. Who, they at this point in time, they'll probably know their fate, right? They'll probably know their fate. So if they're out, they may not care too much about this game, and they may, go ahead and throw it in and just play whoever. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's what the rest of the season looks like. Hold on, man. Hold on. Because it's going to be a battle. It's going to be a ride. It's going to be a ride throughout the rest of the season. Josh.
Got another super chat, Sam.
Got another one in there? Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Check that out. Looked like you was getting ready to say something.
Yeah, I just was looking at the super chat.
Oh. Oh.
Deadline Music 50, thank you for the super chat. He says, for me, arguing with a teammate crossed the line, time to go. I don't know how naive you can be.
I don't know if I can't say it's time to go. Shoot. Udonis Haslem and Jimmy Butler, you talk about fighting. Arguing with a teammate, that's going to happen, in my opinion. I'm sure that happens every single year, arguing with a teammate. Kobe and Shaq, right? Jimmy Butler and Udonis Haslem, you talk about fighting. They were literally really going to fight. Udonis Haslem told him, I will beat your ass. Right there, both of them are still there. In my
Anthony Davis, Dwight Howard, Oak and Mace.
Come
on, this happens all the time.
That wasn't even a dust up for real, in my opinion. That was just like, I'm in the heat of the moment, I'm mad, and I yelled in your face. And all he said is, I told you to get off of me. It's not like he said, yo, if you don't get off me, I'm gonna see you boom, 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 boom. It was just like, I told you to get off me, and stared at him, upset. And you know what? Manuel Quickley, he ain't back down either.
Which is good.
You know what I'm saying? He didn't back down. He was like, oh, I'm right. I mean, I'm right here. Yeah, you towering over me, but I can raise my chest and shoulders up too. He didn't back down to him. He didn't back down to him. I respect that with IQ, man. I like IQ.
I think that's a huge sign of maturity for him, though. I think that's big. I like to see the young players who you don't expect much from, basically, step up and take over that role, because it didn't seem like anybody else was willing to do that on the team, right? And for a young player like that, Emmanuel Quickley, who knows, Thibodeau is going to play him. He's not really looking over his shoulder saying, someone's going to take my spot. He's confident now. The way he plays is confident, and I just like the fact that he took that next step. So I'm okay with that. And Paris Douglas says Oaken Mace ringless. What about Kobe and Shaq? What about those two?
All right.
What about Udonis Haslem has a ring, couple or three, I think. What about him? This goes beyond like championships. It just, it's a respect thing. And every team that I've been on, there's been fights. Literal fights where the team had to go on and break it up. And then the next day, everything was cool. And then we became a better team because of it. So I just think this stuff happens in sports. People are definitely taking this to the next level. The teammate thing.
And
you know what I mean? Even if they do fight, I'm whatever. They'll be all right.
And if it's the way Quickley did stand up to Randle, that's the type of thing that sometimes makes that player respect you.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh,
100%.
Okay. You know what I mean? And whatever conversations they had in the locker room, they might have even gotten into an argument after the game or whatever about it. But that sometimes builds the respect, right? It builds the respect of the bully. I mean, now the bully respects you, and you don't deal with that anymore. You know what I mean? And teams sometimes have to go through trials and tribulations. This is the epitome of, earlier in the season, we talked about teams that are, more seasoned, and they're seasoned because, they've been through battles. They're war tested. You know what I'm saying? They're battle tested. This is what being battle tested, this is how you become battle tested. You know what I'm saying? You become battle tested by going through these type of things. And, when you're in a battle, different things are going to happen. If you can come out of it and still be together, you've become battle tested. You know what I'm saying? If you come out of this and you're still one team, one unit, you've gotten over an obstacle, you become battle tested. It's on the coaching staff right now, I think, to use this situation and make it and turn it into a learning lesson. A learning lesson. Turn it into a lesson, a learning moment. You know what I mean? Use this situation to help the team grow. You know what I mean? And you've got to have people that know how to do it. Right? But it's on the coaching staff to use this situation right now. And it can be done. I know everyone thinks the solution is, get rid of Randle. You know what I mean? No one can ever say who for. Right? They just get rid of him. And then people say, I don't care. I've seen people say, I don't care. Just don't have him on his team. Get whoever. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Right.
That's a smart move. Just throw him out there, get rid of him, bring back whatever, and, be trash again. You know what I mean? Because
as long as they're all getting along, Sim, and not arguing.
As long as it's kumbaya.
Holding hands. Yep. And reading the Bible together.
And you know what's going to happen? If that were to happen, then people are going to say, we need somebody that don't go along with everybody else on this team. We need a spark plug. We need someone who's not afraid to talk to the referees or not afraid to get mad. You know what I mean? I mean, this is, I don't know. I'm just saying. Zion. Get Zion. Yeah, okay. And he won't play for 50 games every year. And you'll be pissed off about that.
Making more money than Randle now too. I think
making more money.
The max contract.
Yeah, making more money. And I'm not. I'm not taking any responsibility from Randle. Just saying, this is sports. It's real life sports. It's TV to us, but it's real life sports, and things are gonna happen. And like it or not, Randle's a big part of this team's success this year. He was the big part of the team's success 2 years ago. He was a big part of the Knicks not doing well last year. You know what I mean? But he's a big part of the team's success this year, and you can't take that away from him. I mean, right now the Knicks have 43 wins? That's the most wins the Knicks have had in how long? How many times can you remember 2 out of the last 3 seasons the Knicks had winning records? How many times can you remember that over the last decade? None.
20 years. 20 years.
You know what I mean? I mean, come on. We're in a place right now that we haven't been in a very, very long time. And Randle is a big part of that. How many times have we had in the last decade that we've had a 2-time NBA All-Star on the team? He's a big part of that, like it or not. You can complain all you want. So is Tom Thibodeau. I mean, without those 2 guys here on this particular basketball team, you don't have those 2 guys, the Knicks aren't here. They're in the lottery. We're in the lottery trying to figure out what we do next. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. I think that's all I got for the day. Any last words, Big Bubba? Any last words, man?
Great show today, Sam. It's always a great one. I knew we were going to do this one.
I'm sorry. I do got one more thing.
Oh, okay.
Ace of Spades said, did y'all hear what Theo Pinson and Reggie Bullock said about Randle? Yeah, I did. Theo Pinson was a non-factor in those basketball teams besides, his fun and loving spirit on the bench. And maybe he helped build some camaraderie in the locker room. But on the court, he wasn't a factor. And Reggie Bullock is replaced by Josh Hart and Quentin Grimes, who both are probably, I'm not even going to say probably, are better than Reggie Bullock.
Sim, see, you know what? I was going to say some peaceful stuff, but I have to disagree with you.
What?
So here's the thing, and you're lucky I forgot to bring it up when we had our argument.
Okay, go ahead, say it.
This to me showed a great example of why Randle sometimes does the things he does. There is some favoritism.
So?
Every basketball team, there is some favoritism.
But hold on.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
I'm not blind to that.
I'm not disagreeing with you. Every team, LeBron James, does he get favoritism on his teams?
He's LeBron James. Come on.
But does he?
What difference does it make?
Does Jimmy Butler get favoritism on his teams?
Of course he does.
Yeah.
But hold on.
It's going to happen.
But they don't cheat the game. And what I mean by that, that, and I'm not saying Randle's lazy or anything like that. I'm talking about Sim, you were arguing me down about, well, I disagree. Randle plays defense. You got 2 players that played with him, that was on the court that season. Sim, like you always say.
That's cool.
Like you always
they said
say,
that, but Theo Pinson wasn't on the floor, so he didn't play any defense.
Sim, but see,
all right,
I gotta
he
get on you.
Get
Sim.
on the floor.
Sim, I gotta get on you because now you're discrediting him.
I am.
He didn't play.
I am. I mean, listen, people are gonna say what they say. Cool. Check this out. If Jimmy Butler was on this team, I guarantee you, there's gonna be people who say, "Oh man, he keeps taking these plays off. He takes this play off. He takes that play." Any player that comes on this team,
with Jimmy Butler.
Every player that comes on this team, it's going to be said about that player because we see our players every single night, and so you see when they take a play off. You see this, you see that. You don't see these other players, and so you don't get to see all these small little things that you may not like. You know what I mean?
Does Randle's defense need to be better?
Hold on, Sam, I'll push back on what I think you're right, but I'll push back on what you said. I think Knicks fans see the players that they like. I think they see those, or the players that they don't like on the team. I think they see those players more often than not. The players that they do like, I didn't see RJ Barrett not playing any defense.
Right.
I didn't see that. No.
I'm not saying that Julius Randle is a perfect defender. Not at all.
So, no.
And when he decides to turn it on, he's a very good defender. And there are times when he doesn't. Hold on. But also now we're saying, that he's got too much of a load and he needs a break. A lot of your best players who are your leading scorers on the team ask for somebody else to make the switch. True, and that's across the NBA.
Fans want to talk about the team has favorites, and then Tom Thibodeau has favorites, but the fans have their favorites too.
Yeah.
The pot calling, the exact version of literal hypocrisy. Hypocrites. You have your favorite players on the team that you love watching, and they can do no wrong in your eyes. No wrong.
Hold on, Josh, but hold on. Here's the thing, right?
Come on.
Let me say this. This year, and Josh, me out of all people, we've had legit arguments about RJ Barrett. We had legit arguments last year about RJ Barrett. I have been very critical of RJ Barrett this season. RJ Barrett has had a bad season. Overall, he's had a terrible season, to be honest with you. It's a terrible season from RJ Barrett. I'm fair. I'm fair when it comes to the Knicks because I'm a Knicks team person first versus a player. I've been Sim, stop. Sim, you're the last person to talk.
I'm not going to say that. I'm the last person to talk?
Yes, you're the last person to talk.
I think I'm pretty objective about players.
Sim, last year you just got on Debs.
I think you're unfair, Isaiah, by saying that there's favoritism and there's something wrong with that when literally every team in the NBA has favoritism on it.
Let me clear this up. I'm not blind to this favoritism in the league. I'm not blind to that. What I'm blind, oh my God. 1 second. Hold that phone.
We about to go.
We about to go. We about to go. We don't got time to wait for you. You know what I'm saying? You don't get any favoritism on this channel. You don't get any favoritism. So, your point is just gonna have to go mute. Done. You know what I mean? I know you can hear me in the one ear. But anyway, I don't know. Every team has favoritism, for their players. Your best players are going to get favoritism. It is, and that's how it is. That's not even just the NBA. That's life itself. You know what I'm saying? Some people in life are going to be able to get away with this and that and that and that, and other people are not going to be able to get away with those certain things. On your job, this guy over here brings in the most sales. You know what I'm saying? It's the top seller in your organization. So when he comes to work 30 minutes late, nobody says anything. When you come to work 30 minutes late, everybody's mad at you. Or your boss mad at you or whatever it is. Like, that's the way things go in the NBA. You know what I'm saying?
Hold on, I'm back.
That's the way it is. Yeah, you're lucky because you don't get any favoritism here.
Yeah. I like what you did there. I like what you did there,
Anyway, you can be Reggie Bullock and Theo Pinson and go over to G-Mo show and be like, yeah, he be kicking me out. He be telling me this. He be telling me that.
Oh, man, so you got to tune into this Gilmore show. I'll be talking too much smack about you. Get him, get him, Bubba. Nah, but so here's my thing. Now, I was going back to what you were saying. I'm not blind. Every team has favoritism, of course. Listen, I have a reliable source from one of my homegirls that played in college that LeBron James don't practice with the team. He don't practice.
I think that's been known for a while. He don't, he sits out practices for injuries and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm saying this favoritism.
But that's not just him. That's all across the league.
Yeah, that's all across the league. Yeah.
Melo didn't practice all the time with the Knicks. Allen Iverson. I went to an Allen Iverson practice and he was breakdancing in the middle of the court. Literally. He was at my college. They had practice there. They played the Knicks in a preseason game. They practiced at my school. He's up in there breakdancing in the middle of the court, doing all kinds of stuff. That was Allen Iverson. Nobody said nothing to him.
Yeah, but here's my thing though, right? Randle defense has been bad. And to me, there's a correlation of what Theo Pinson and Reggie Bullock said. And they did it in a joking way, but they were serious. Like,
you assuming
everybody.
You're assuming that they were serious, or were they serious? Because
All right.
all you can do is make an assumption. You can't
They
say
said,
just like
everybody when you play
hold up.
has to.
Just like definitively, we can only speculate what's going on with Randle. Just like I think it was Nikki B from Harlem said in that clip, you can only speculate that they were not joking.
Okay.
You can only speculate because, and here's the reason why: because you don't know. Just like we don't know what's going on in the locker room for real, we can only speculate. You don't know what kind of inside jokes they have either.
Sam.
No.
Okay.
Am I right or wrong?
No, you're right. But when they say a joke like everybody got to play defense on the fifth team except Randle, and they both laugh because you know what? It's probably true.
And it could have been an inside joke too. Right? Just like I'd be like, oh, Big Bubba, don't put that in your glove compartment. That's an inside joke.
Yeah.
That's an inside joke.
Hey, you lucky Josh knows too. That's the only funny.
You know what I'm saying? Nobody, that's an inside joke.
Yeah, you're annoying stuff.
I'm just saying.
So this is why I like telling you stuff, man. Listen. Anyways.
You never know. Mr. D-Man said, set something up for the playoffs. We're here. Well, we'll see what's going on. As soon as
can we make the playoffs first, please?
We lock that thing down, then we'll see what we can do there. Anyway, I don't know. I think sometimes Knicks fans got unrealistic expectations of our guys, and we got favorites. We talk about the team having. I agree, Josh. We talk about the team having favorites. Jalen Brunson right now is a favorite, and he gets beat defensively. He makes defensive mistakes.
But hold on, though. Here's the thing. No one expected Jalen Brunson to come in and play defense.
No one expected Randle to come in and play defense.
Stop.
Wait a minute.
What?
So is that not favoritism or a double standard?
But Sim, but hold on though, because at the end of the day, Jalen Brunson's like 5'11", 6 foot.
So what?
And there are
short players that play defense.
Yeah, there are very good short guys that can play defense.
Name me 5. Here we go.
You know what I'm saying?
Now we got to call them out. Name me 5.
Marcus Smart, short and can play defense.
Stop. Marcus Smart is not 6 feet. Marcus Smart is 6'2", 6'3".
Oh, well, Jalen Brunson is listed as 6'2".
That's short.
Just Sam.
No,
don't do this.
Listen, hold up.
Don't do this because he's not no 6'2".
Have you stood next to him?
He is my cousin.
I didn't ask that. I asked, have you stood next to him?
No, I haven't.
No, you have not. On NBA.com, he's listed at 6'2". So I'm using facts. What?
But Sim, don't do this because you know he's not 6'2". You know he's not.
I don't know how tall he is. I never measured him.
That's why you laughing.
I'm going by what is said on NBA.com.
Oh,
that's what he's listed as. I've never measured him, so I don't know. I'm only going by that. You know what I'm saying?
But Sim, there was
but you're saying, we didn't expect it. We didn't expect Julius Randle to be all NBA either. But he did.
Yo, Sim, how do you oh man.
Did we? No, but he did.
Chris Paul,
excellent defender. Maybe not now, but he was.
That's why I knew y'all was gonna use Chris Paul, because of course you can use Chris Paul. Okay. So I want to ask this. Okay.
Allen Iverson was an excellent defender.
No, he wasn't. Allen Iverson did not play defense. He even told y'all he didn't play defense.
Yes, he was.
He was a
Yes, he was.
He might have taken plays off.
Anyways.
John Stockton leads the NBA.
I'm talking about 5 players right now. I want to talk about.
Okay, so now who's moving the goalposts now?
What you mean? I was talking about right now.
You said name 5 players.
You said name 5 players.
All I'm saying is, and I'm not trying to get on Brunson because obviously he does other things. He takes charges, boom, boom, boom. But, he has his troubles like anyone else. But right now, he's the favorite. Everybody loves him, so ain't nobody going to really bring it up. They just going to be like, okay, so who are we going to put Brunson on? But they're going to be all right with it. But that's how it is in the life of a Knicks fan. Anyway, we out of here, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate your time. Hopefully Monday we can get this win.
Please.
And we can stop the arguing, stop the fighting, and all that kind of stuff. If you're on Twitter, man, you know, I guess it's cooled down since yesterday, but there's still some people going at it. Anyway, we're up out of here, folks. Appreciate your time. And let's try to get this win on Monday. We're out of here. Peace.
This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When send past the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place to tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.